let's look at this. These two tweets I thought were pretty funny. This is Palantir co-founder Joe Lonsdale bought an ad to promote, basically promoted his tweet. Which is just
Palantir is Peter Thiel's sort of private spy firm.
Right. I mean, it's just like all these libertarian crew out in Silicon Valley. So embarrassing to buy a promoted tweet in this way. It seems to me. Like, I can get it. Like, if you have like a business and you promote the business, but like, I've got some deep thoughts that I think really deserve to be seen.
You just don't have the cash, so you wouldn't even understand what it's like to pay for promotional.
I would pay for it. Yeah, if I had that type of money, I would.
In the battle of ideas, you have to have the cash to get your ideas at the forefront.
Exactly. Joe Lonsdale. I am curious if the innovation world is only part of our economy that doesn't deserve a depositor bailout.
The
innovation world.
I'm part of the innovation world. But first off, like, you know, who the innovation world did get a bailout in the form of like the PPP. All of those businesses, you know, got their beaks wet, as it were. Presumably anybody who is a parent in the innovation world also got the $300 per child.
And like the cheap money policies since the Obama era have been one long bailout of these
without a doubt. And then he goes on to say, and can't help but ask, how many equivalent aid packages to Ukraine, half of them? No, half of one of them it takes to resolve the crisis impacting thousands of promising U.S. technology companies.
Promising's doing a lot of heavy lifting.
I mean, if it's only thousands, we can take them on a case-by-case basis, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean.
But it's fascinating to me. What you also get to see here is you see where, like, you know, that tech bro world when they're talking about Ukraine. Like, I mean, he doesn't. How much of Palantir's revenue is a function of the national security state? Like, is it 110%? No, because you have corporate spying
a good chunk
as well.
of it is helping police stations spy on citizens, you know, get around constitution.
I would include that in there, right? And internationally. So this is not a concern that he's not concerned about authoritarianism. He's not concerned about war, frankly. He's just looking for the most cynical way to generate support for these people who put over $250,000 per person or business and did not avail themselves. Let's also be clear. If you're a small business that needs to maintain more than $250,000 in your bank account at any time for payroll purposes, there are secondary insurers for this. There are mechanisms in which you can insure that money. But again, the reason why they didn't protect that money above $250,000 was because they're getting a sweetheart deal from the bank on either their personal mortgages or their personal loans or their business loans to capitalize them. And they're getting all sorts of amenities. This is put $100 in, get a free toaster. Except for them, it's like, go over the threshold in which you're federally insured and you'll get all of these benefits in terms of financial measures. I mean, and to be fair, that's somewhat speculative on my part, but I'm quite convinced that's what's going on here.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, it's also, this is the natural kind of end point to this tech bubble kind of bumping up against its ceiling, where there's just not anything there anymore. And so that's why there's these big tech layoffs.
It's AI, it's going to change the world.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we're in the metaverse now. There's not they're
kept afloat by cheap money.
Well, but the need for endless growth is not compatible right now with
You're anti-innovation.
the tech industry.
And they need that growth because they have promised it to investors.
And it's being propped up by stilts by these, again, speculation sweetheart deals with banks that are also getting rich off of it, and were underregulated because of the bipartisan bill passed under Trump.
So anti-innovative. But Joe Lonsdale, it's an interesting twist because just like a year ago, in December of 2022, I guess actually 3 months ago, in a free society, Joe Lonsdale wrote on in a non-promoted tweet. In a free society with property rights and checks on government power, poverty is generally a cultural problem.
Hello, Charles Murray.
That is, it's mostly tied to bad choices. It's a bad choice. Putting more than $250,000 in a bank because you're getting some other benefits for it and you're willing to take that risk. That's a bad choice.
Got to feel the consequences of that.
Let's go
Is that
back.
a classical virtue?
Bad choices, bad habits, lack of inculcating classical virtues. You know what's a classical virtue? I'll tell you what it is, a classical virtue. That is not be greedy. And just take the interest rates you're getting there, and instead of don't not be so risky with your finances that you're willing to put money in a bank beyond the threshold in which is federally insured, which is $250,000 everywhere. Everybody knows this who has that kind of money. You don't have that kind of money and not know that. And then say, I'll be fine. That seems to me to be a non-classical virtue and misguided basic ways of thinking about and understanding the world. In other words, one could say, that can't happen to me. I'm a master of the universe. My bank won't collapse. I'm just going to get my 0% mortgage. They get, I don't know if these people I got it, but if you have enough money, and you keep it with, let's say, in this instance, a commercial bank or sometimes investment bank, they will get you 0% mortgages where you're just getting the money for free. And your house cost, I don't know, $2 million, $10 million, $20 million. You borrow the money at 0% interest. You keep that $20 million in, I don't know, whatever investment vehicle that it wants, because all it needs to do is return 1%. And your house is free.
Yeah. It's actually quite easy to be a rich person that stays rich, because once you're wealthy, then you get a bunch of sweetheart deals because people want to be doing business with you.
When I first got on All American Girl, I made more money in that 1 week than I had made in the year before. And they came to me and they started giving me free sneakers. And I'm like, where were you when I wasn't making this money?
Right.
But that's the way it goes, folks.
I still can't believe how I can get books for free because of my job.
Yeah.
And if you would have told me this when I was 20, I'm like, holy crap. It's
there you go.
Jackpot.
Hundreds of dollars a month.
Yeah.